Thank you for listening to my Postdoc Transformation Show. Maybe you now want to leap out of science and start your own side business as a runway for your better future? Then you will benefit from my free business preparation quiz as linked in the show notes. If you want to organize your marketing and selling efforts, please also subscribe to my new video podcast show, Creating Reorganized. I share my tricks from creating this show, speak with business owners who run a podcast for their business, and learn from podcasting service providers about their tools boosting our businesses. My new video podcast show, Creating Reorganized, will also be a living example of applied industrial and occupational psychology for my students in real life. And now, let's get to this episode. Postdoc Transformation. Postdoc Transformation. Postdoc Transformation. Invest in your postdoc transformation. Welcome to the seasonal show for scientists leaping into business. In every sponsored episode, we are happy to recommend employers of choice for you. Make sure to check your readiness to leap out of science with us for free, as linked in the show notes. For your career transition, we offer customized career transition e-courses and memberships also at graduate schools all over the world. Maybe yours too. And if your university isn't yet our customer, enroll in your free email course for career transition made simple, as linked in the show notes. I'm your host, Professor Dr. Eleonore Soei-Winkels, with my team who is rooting for you. And let's build your postdoc transformation with this episode. Dear postdoc transformer, you are going to hear someone who has been behind the scenes the most supportive male ally that you can think of. I'm talking about someone who's been recommending me a lot of guests that you have already listened to in this postdoc transformation show. For example, Dr. Sonja Uhland and also Beth Horsley. And all three of them, my new guests today, are working for the Page Group. And to me as well, the Page Group changes lives. Why? Because Daniel Knott, our guest today, again has brought so many people to my show and is still bringing people to my show. And also, he is changing my students' lives because he has invited us, my students and me, twice already to the office, to the Heimat, as he calls it. And this way, my bachelor and master students for industrial and occupational psychology were able to get some real-time insights into how it's like to be working as a headhunter and how to recruit and staff people for companies that are seeking new and also seasoned talent. And Daniel will be sharing a lot of career management tips because he's a senior headhunter at Page Executive. We will be talking about how he approaches networking, because how we met actually is also very unique. We were both attending FIDA, so that's Frauen in the Aufsichtsräte in Germany, last year in September, so only a couple of months ago. And I saw him on stage talking about career management. And the way he interacted and engaged with the women in the audience was so remarkable that I approached him directly to connect with him for my students. And then I was also talking about my postdoc transformation show, and then he immediately thought of connecting the dots and recommending a lot of people for my show. So there will be more to come from his recommendations, but today we'll be talking all about Daniel Knott's career management tips. So without further ado, welcome. The stage is yours, dear Daniel.
Thank you very much, Ellie, for the very kind words and intro. And I'm super happy to join this podcast, and hopefully we can develop something great here.
Absolutely. We have already developed something great. So this is for me just the thank you for all your effort that you have already put into our collaboration. Okay, so please introduce us to Page Executive and your current role, Daniel, because maybe my audience still doesn't know what Page Executive is and which branch it is within the Page Group.
Sure. I'm Daniel Knott, born in Duisburg, almost 42 years old, father of 3 very loud and beautiful kids. I'm with Page Group for almost 7 years now. I'm specialized in the executive search. So Page Group exists for more than 40 years now. We have over 9,000 employees worldwide. And Germany, as you can imagine, is a very strong and solid market for the executive world when it comes to jobs and hirings. I'm located in Düsseldorf, which is our headquarters. We have several offices in Germany, like Frankfurt, Hamburg, Stuttgart, Munich, and we are specialized in practice groups. We are working with a research team together.
Hey, before we continue, we want to appreciate those who finance this valuable episode for you. I want to share with you my best marketing agent. Serving my underprivileged, underrepresented, and underserved audience, leads, and clients is key for me as an Asian working mom, business owner, and professor in Germany. But I can't be marketing and selling all the time, and I have to be mindful with my own resources. So I chose Podbean as my podcast hosting and monetizing provider. I'm on the Unlimited Plus plan for our PostdocTransformation Show and Creating Reorganized Show. With Podbean, your audience can inclusively listen and watch your podcast according to their visual and auditive needs. You can also embed your customized podcast player on your external website or use one of the beautiful website templates. You can easily share your podcast on all major podcasting directories, which allows you to reach a huge audience on their favorite devices in their countries. Podbean also has an ads marketplace, and you can easily attract and manage sponsors for dynamic ads, which are played out depending on your audience criteria. This way, you can serve your audience for free. Some of them become your clients eventually, but your advertising sponsors independently support you financially in each episode. See insightful stats per demographic and which episodes attracted most listeners so you can tailor your future episodes for your leads and clients and present suitable external ads. If you want to try Podbean for your own podcasting, DM or email me Podbean so I can share my experience and consult you. Please check it out via my link in the show notes. I only get a small financial reward if you become their customer using my Podbean link. Thanking our advertisers for their financial support, we are happy to return to our inspiring episode.
What drives me is connecting with the executive world to talk about career management and also to help to develop careers. It's always the connection between the candidates and the clients. So I think like active listening is a key, networking is a key, and that makes a lot of fun to make the difference here. Page Executive is a growing brand within Page Group. We have a lot of tools and topics that we are unique at, and we can really make the difference to really changing lives and changing the company's setup.
All right, thank you. That sounds interesting because when my students were privileged to visit your office for a fun day, my colleagues within the university said, why couldn't we join? Because we are also nearby. And I said, well, next time I can let you know. But then others said, well, we are somewhere far away. So this episode really is also an opportunity for my colleagues to share with their students because they have also bachelor and master students for industrial and occupational psychology. So it's replicating, and this way we are scaling.
Great.
All right. So most graduates are not yet the typical target group for headhunters like you. Obviously, I know that. But you have also been a hiring manager at IKEA, so the Swedish group for interior design. And you have also recruited in that role fresh bachelor and master graduates. So what are insightful questions you wish they would have asked or they would have dared to ask when you were saying like, okay, do you have any questions? What are the most insightful questions they should ask?
We have crisis management since 2020. So it's also a lot of things on the plate for companies, right? So I would really recommend to ask questions. How do you feel now? what happened since then, what will be the future like. So that's more like find a good way into the job interview. And then obviously it's more than a job. If you really start your career, believe in your gut feeling. You can do some research on the internet and to see what is their employer branding strategy like, what are the values, but what really matters is like, how is your culture? So that's a question that I would really recommend. What is your management style? What is the difference between company A and company B? Why do you enjoy working here? What kind of person are you looking for? What are the challenges? What are your expectations? And you will find out if you're the right person or not. And if you get a no in terms of a contract, that's not a problem. Then maybe it's just the cultural thing that didn't work out here. Ask the questions that you want to be answered. How do they measure and ensure that the culture is really thriving? And are there maybe employee engagement surveys where you can really work on as a management team? Are there career plans, development opportunities? If you're really starting your career, you don't know, am I a manager? Am I an individual contributor? Is it more the topic and project-based things that I'm good at or trying out, or am I a strong leader? I don't know. If I really start my career and I've never had the chance to lead a team, you can't answer that question. Ask the question the managers who are in that role for several years, and they're probably also not able to answer that question because it's quite complex. I would also ask, what is the average age within the company? Because we are always talking about the war of talents, and especially the situation in Germany is that like the baby boomers are going to retire quite soon. So what happens then? So how do you make sure that new joiners are integrated and can really develop something, not only their career, but also to get that knowledge, which is leaving quite soon? That tells you also something about the culture and the structure of the company. How is the staff attrition rate? So is there a lot of people moving, and why are they moving? So hopefully, if you're in a job interview, it will be the hiring manager and someone from the HR department, and they need to know these numbers.
Let's pause for a moment to respect those who sponsor this valuable episode. I want to share with you my time and energy saver. As a professor for industrial and occupational psychology, I also teach about the future of work. And as a former IT strategy consultant, of course I embrace AI to be a future-proof podcast producer of the PostdocTransformation Show and the Creating Reorganized Show. Descript is the video and audio podcast editing tool of my choice. I pay for the creator plan, and it's worth every dollar. Descript comes with an integrated professional remote recording studio for the best audio quality for your guests. For example, I record an hour interview with a guest or a solo, and instead of painstakingly doing a rough cut and deleting all the ums and ahs and filler words and rambling around, which I did for hours, I now click on Descript AI, editing for clarity, and my rough cut is done in seconds or a minute. For fine-tuning, I edit text instead of audio waves, and I just insert all my pre-recorded music, intro, ads, and outro, like this one, in a matter of minutes. I can then easily export closed captions, fine-tune AI-driven summaries, chapter markers and titles, which I feed into my show notes and podcast host. Descript even suggests the best clips for social media, and the video editor automatically includes the synchronized speakers' cameras and audio captions. I can also include stock graphics or pre-recorded videos, and you can find all our short-form examples on our Instagram and TikTok at PostdocTransformation. If you want to try out Descript for your own podcast editing, DM or email me Descript so I can share my experience and consult you. Please check it out on my link in the show notes. I only get a small financial reward if you become their customer using my Descript link. After this quick appreciation of our sponsors, we are now back in our insightful episode. And also a good thing is that if they are open to say that is the turnover rate, that's the attrition rate, and they're also open to share why they're leaving, sometimes it's also a great opportunity in the sense of they have learned enough here to be also valuable in other companies, which is, again, at the end of the day, good for the company itself that you are applying at the moment. So maybe
Exactly.
this is something like within the supply chain, it's a great stepping point. Daniel, to build on your answers, which were all quite insightful for someone who is leaving academia or even graduating fresh from university, as a woman, as a mom, I always say that you have to ask also other questions. So, do you see women or moms or even women who maybe want to become moms, do you think that they should also ask other questions, or should they just pretend that they will never become pregnant? Because it's not allowed in Germany anyway to ask that question. So they could lie if they were asked, but maybe it's the other way around. You should be open about that and ask. So what is your take on that? And what questions do you think they should ask?
Yeah, that's a very nice and very complex topic. And as a father of 3 kids, I totally feel how stressful it can be, also depending on like the company's values or structure. But I would really ask, how many female leaders do you have in the company? Is there a kind of flexibility in terms of meeting structure, career plans, and so on, to really find out, do they have a success story here? Diversity and inclusion is one of the most fascinating topics. As a father of 3 kids, I know that you're very efficient and you're hardworking as a female employee. There, you probably need two men doing the job, which is also a fact. What I would recommend here is ask the question, if they haven't mentioned the topic diversity and inclusion, is there any success stories? Because at the end of the day, what matters is it real? Can you prove it? Or is it just like something that everybody does and we also need to do it? Sometimes in Germany, we have the union and you have the HR department and you have like several managers and you want a standard. Sometimes it's much better, and I don't know if that's even an English word, to have a cafeteria principle, to really ask for the employees, so what do you need? Is it money? Is it a space? Is it like just a laptop or like a table that you can adjust? Is it to bring your dog to the office? Can we support you in terms of daycare, childcare, or even elderly care? It's also something that matters. I must say all employees in the average age of like 40 are handling a lot. So you have the family, you have the career, and then some other networks that you need to interact, and you have to handle like school and daycare management, and then probably your parents also need support, which is something new, right? So what can you offer here, and is there any help once it's needed? I believe a cafeteria model would be quite useful, and managers can really make an impact and really make good decisions here, right?
Absolutely. And you've been saying so many gems here because you said family first, but also you mentioned right away from the bat that you have 3 kids. And I know also from our fun day that you were mentioning that you pick up also your kids from school, etc. So you're someone who really is putting a lot of effort into family life. And that's why also we vibe so well, because we share the same values.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
that is something that was really striking from minute one when I met you. So was there an epiphany moment? When did you discover that you should be the male ally that you are today? What is your motivation? Because that is really unique.
It's nice that you say that, but for me, it's like a natural thing. That what was always there in my youth. I also like played inline hockey in the first league and nationals, and we always had a mixed team because it was like football or like a very trendy sport. To really have a game, you had to have a mixed team. So we had a female goalkeeper. My defense mate was female, and we won. So German championships and so on. So it's normal for me. It's skills, mindset. Are you interesting? And let's have a good time together. That makes really an impact. And also equal participation is a topic that is really important for me, because there's so many challenges in life, no matter like from what kind of background you are. We have also new opportunities. So we have a lot of refugees right now. So the world is going crazy. Do we help them or do we build a wall? I would say build longer tables and make sure that you integrate people, because so much more in it, and to really develop as a society.
Let's pause for a moment to respect those who sponsor this valuable episode. I want to share with you my #1 lead generator, and you can start that even without a podcast. It's Typeform, and I use them to create free quizzes with open questions and multiple choice answers. I also predefine mandatory answers so I can qualify and score leads, collect their email addresses for later nurturing. I can brand my quizzes with my audio files, branch a given quiz based on the answers for the different target groups, maybe sharing specific podcast episodes or other information, and automatically send them an email after submitting the quiz. I even include a calendar invite for those leads who qualify specifically. So now I can help everyone on the surface and on a deep level for free, and divert my own valuable time only to my high-ticket leads. I collect all the data automatically after my initial setup, as I have also integrated it with my remaining tech stack. If you want to try out Typeform for your own lead generation and qualification, DM or email me Typeform so I can share my experience and consult you. Please check it out via my link in the show notes. Again, I only get a small financial reward if you become their customer using my Typeform link. After this quick appreciation of our sponsors, we are now back in our insightful episode.
You also asked, was there a special moment in life? I can answer that with a yes. My wife, we came together when we made our A-levels. Oh, I'm getting old. So it was 2003. And Johanna, that's my wife, got a place at the London School of Economics. And I was very happy for her. But then as a young couple, it meant, okay, we have a long distance relationship. We had that long distance relationship for almost 8 years. I traveled to London quite often. I was able to be in this student community, to meet people from all over the world. And these are our friends now. So after 20 years, I have that international network, no matter of religion, male, female, gay, straight, whatever. It doesn't matter. And what I'm saying is I'm super thankful to had these moments in my life to really meet interesting people from different backgrounds, societies, and so on. And that's also something that I would recommend to my kids and to all young starters. Go out there, believe in you, and be independent and try something out. Go in foreign countries, learn the languages, start working there, and you will come back with so much more energy and power, and you have a different mindset then. So that was also to answer the questions. Like, I would say it's a general or natural thing for me, but then in 2003, that was probably also mind and game changing. And when I did my IKEA program, it was like I was studying and working at the same time for 3 years. I also learned a lot about Germany. The IKEA concept or program works that you are located in 3 different areas all over Germany. So I started in Berlin, great time. Well, then I went to Regensburg, totally different, in the south of Germany, very small, a lot of beer and so on. At the end, I was located in Oldenburg, like in the very north of Germany. When I finished, so it was my first management function, moved to Munich, and that was the moment when also my wife came back from London, and we started our family business in 2010. So I have an idea of like, how is Germany, the north and the south and the west and the east are very, very different cultural wise and so on. So I learned a lot here, and that's also something that helps me a lot in the business context. So I have clients from all over the world. So Europe is pretty small for someone from China or from San Francisco, right? To get them an idea of like, how is Europe? And the north of Germany is different to the south of Germany because we don't have that centralized system like France or England, where everything is in London or Paris. So it's like very different. It's a different market with different industries.
Absolutely. The better you know the local market of the companies that you are looking for, staffing, recruiting, the better you will be able to cater the company's needs, but also to cater the applicant's needs, right? So essentially it's expectation management, right? So
Definitely.
if someone is coming from abroad to work for a German company, it might be different in Berlin versus Oldenburg, for example. Some cities are more open for gay people and some are not. And if you know that right away, then you can choose. And it's a realistic expectation. Let's pause for a moment to respect those who sponsor this valuable episode. If you want a relatively passive income, creating a paid e-course as your service is a great option, especially if you are like me, an experienced teacher in higher education, and now want to share even more knowledge and maybe also create a paid membership with live group meetings beyond the e-course. Offering an e-course is a no-brainer. Thinkific is an AI-infused learning management system, which is a dream for every educator. After setting up an e-course or membership, you also need to market and sell your e-course, and that's when lead generation with Typeform and podcasting with Descript and Podbean can complement you well. If you want to try out Thinkific for creating your own e-course and membership, DM or email me, Thinkific, so I can share my experience and consult you. Please check it out via my link in the show notes. I only get a small financial reward if you become their customer using my Thinkific link. Thanking our advertisers for their financial support, we are happy to return to our inspiring episode. Okay, so that is already great for my own students. And now the meat of our discussion will be about career management tips. You already mentioned some, but is there anything that you want to mention for bachelor and master students?
Ask questions that you really want to know, and that's an individual thing to really find out what is the job like, what is the company like, and what is the job that I'm looking for as a student. Degrees are really important, but at some point in your early career, it's a matter of fact that you need to work hard, right? To really prove, no matter of bachelor or master or PhD degree, to show that you can really adapt and to show your knowledge within the job and the company, right? What I would ask here is also most of the managers, do they have a master degree or do they have a bachelor degree? At some point, the work experience matters. Like in a board, they have like different degrees, different background, and then you work and act as a team and make a company successful because you have a diverse team, right? I would also recommend to see that there's different kinds of master and bachelor degrees, right? We still have very conservative industries, let's call it that way, like in the engineering, in the automotive industry and so on. Do you come from a very well-known university, or is it from a FH, or is it from something different? So you have a break within your career planning because you have a certain degree. And I'm hoping that that will open career perspectives for young talents.
Okay, we can now move on to the middle management leaders, because some of my master students, they're actually not just master students right away from the bachelor, but actually they have been working in responsible jobs already. Some of them are already leaders, but the company feel that they need a master so that they can continue on their career path to become more senior also. So are there any tips that you want to share for middle management leaders? Because that is in the vicinity of the FIDA women we were talking about.
First of all, it's a very interesting thing to have someone who's already in the management position or is like developing in this position and is also like studying at the same time. So what you could totally see here as a manager who's like the hiring manager in a job interview or as a headhunter is that this person is probably hardworking. I don't know what drives you. Yeah. Is it the degree for your ego? Do you do it for yourself, or is it just to tick the box for your career plan? That's something that you need to answer yourself, right? What I could see as a hiring manager or hunter is that this person is pretty resilient, probably. And that's a key value for companies to hire someone with his attitude and mindset and young life, if that makes sense. If you already have the opportunity to do the master at the same time and the company is sponsoring the master degree, then it's probably a good employer because they want to develop the company's future with you as a company that can attract young talents. To study and work at the same time, you have limited money and limited time. How do you manage? It shows that the company understood many things to find young talents, to also have them in the company for several years. When they sponsor it, that helps a lot to make the difference in a challenging market, right?
Absolutely. My students are really determined to make a difference because they want to change their own professional avenues within their companies. So most of them are actually sponsored by the company. So the company thinks that they are high caliber talent that deserves and that they have to also support. Otherwise, they'll be going away to another company. So they better nurture them. And these are also the students that challenge me the most because they really don't have time a lot on their plate. And they have many issues and many work obstacles. So when they come to my lectures, and they're not attending every lecture, but when they're coming, they're really focused, ask me a lot of questions that challenged me. And at the end of the day, they still have to deliver just because they were not able to visit every lecture. They are still managing to take the exams and to write the thesis and everything. They are usually the ones that are already clear in their vision of life. And maybe this is the leeway to senior management leaders and your career management tips for them. I think when you have a clear vision of your life, then you know that there are some things that you don't want to negotiate anymore. So are there any career management tips for senior management leaders? Because these are actually your target groups, right? So you're working with seniors.
The career is not from 9 to 5, it's before and after, right? So there's so much more to handle. You have your daily business, but it's the extra mile that you have to go, right? Also in our business relations, we are talking after or before work and before family or between. That's the interesting stuff that also need to be shared with young talents and with tough leaders, that life is more than a job. Several aspects influence your life and your career, and altogether makes a difference, right?
Before we continue, we want to appreciate those who finance this valuable episode for you. Hey, I'm back again. So far, you have learned all my favorite marketing and sales tools. Now, how can you bring all the data from your audience, leads, and clients together so you can serve them on a value ladder and for the long term? Even after multiple touchpoints with you, you want to remain on their mind for when they are ready to buy your service or product. I am expanding my digital business, and I use ActiveCampaign as the centerpiece for all my services like email course, podcast, newsletter, show notes, websites, sales page, merch shop, forms, whatever it is as needed. As a former IT strategy consultant, I have high requirements on my tech stack, and ActiveCampaign offers so many integrations to all my other apps. I really use it daily. If you want to create your own digital business with various AI-driven lead magnets and funnel options, DM or email me, ActiveCampaign, so I can share my experience and consult you. Please check it out via my link in the show notes. I only get a small financial reward if you become their customer using my ActiveCampaign link. Thanking our advertisers for their financial support, we are happy to return to our inspiring episode.
And what I also would recommend senior leaders to make a move if the manager is, to say, an asshole. And it doesn't matter if it's like male or female. Also met both sides in my career. Really good and really bad male and female leaders. If it's like more like a treadmill, you can tick many boxes and you have your degree, all the KPIs are fine. You've done a fantastic job, but there's something that pulls you back and says, well, you need this and that, and until we offer you the next step. And then the hiring manager is leaving and you're standing there and have to explain to the new manager what kind of things you have done very good. So you're losing time. That's what I'm trying to say. At some point, you need to ask yourself that the whole surrounding as a package, is that nice or not? And if it's not nice, just quit. Connect with headhunters. They can also speed up your career and your career management. When I started thinking about leaving IKEA and find something that I would like to do, there were many questions that I asked myself, and my wife challenged me, and now I'm a headhunter for almost 7 years, and I can do what I want, I can develop what I want, and I'm meeting interesting people every day that inspire me, and I can hopefully inspire those people and really help with a career management, because there's still under the surface, I would say 90%, I'm not good in statistics, that's like more your profession. I would say 90% on our market are not working together with a search agency or with a headhunter to really activate your career plan and to apply for jobs, to write a CV, to also synchronize your LinkedIn profile or Xing profile at the same time. That it's a lot of effort, and headhunter can really give you the helping hand to give an overview, because you're always in this little corner and like micro perspective, and you are handling your career by yourself. Maybe you have a good friend or a manager that helps you, but at some point you have to come out there and to connect. Networking is something that I highly recommend, to ask questions, to find a way how people manage their careers, and then you find out, okay, cool, that's how you do it, right? And it's a complex thing. I have friends that you probably also talk to who also inspired me, but the careers that I'm handling are that way, right? So it's interesting stuff, and also like quitting jobs and moving to a different company to learn about new companies and values and so on. That's super important. Yeah. But also quite challenging for new talent. That's a challenge for some companies, that they say, well, we invested a lot of money here for this young talent. We paid for the university degree or even for the headhunter fee and so on, and they're leaving after 1 year. So that's the new challenge. Is it the companies failing here, or is it the employee who is not resilient? That's something that you need to find out. So I would always recommend to be in your position for at least 3 years. When it comes to the top management, we're talking about strategy. Do you do a strategy in 1 year? Probably not. Do you park your strategy in crisis management? Big yes. But at the end of the day, you are talking about shifting an organization and transformation in organization. That's something that you don't do, because it's so complex, within 1 year. So I would also recommend to reflect and to share, what have I done? What were my success factors? Can I tick that boxes? Okay, let's make the next step. Can I do it here, or do I need to find out if there's other great companies out there? And that's also something, if you work with a headhunter, with so many hidden champions, so many great companies, and I'm doing industry and technology, there's companies you've never heard about. To connect those people, senior management, top talent, very well educated, the right mindset, and you have the company that offers us looking for someone with exactly these things, and to bring those people together. That's what drives me on. Yeah.
Let's hold that thought for a quick appreciation of your business. Are you wondering when and where you can get the attention of your audience? You always think you don't have the time to post on multiple social media platforms. I totally get you. I have been enjoying weeks of social media breaks while I served my audience with prepared content to be scheduled out as needed. Ideally, you have just derived countless social media content from your one video podcast episode. But Even without a podcast, with Later, you can create and schedule your own social media content in advance, according to the best posting times based on your followers. If you want to schedule your content on social media, DM or email me later so I can share my experience and consult you. Please check it out via my link in the show notes. Again, I only get a small financial reward if you become their customer using my Later link. After this quick appreciation of our sponsors, we are now back in our insightful episode. Wonderful. Listening to you, Julius, and also Katharina, who organized the fun day for my students and me, really is serving so many Steilvorlagen, as we say in Germany, that I can use in my lectures. So this is again another episode that I will make my students listen to, because it really underlines what I'm saying in the sense of the business life cycle is maybe a year. And to understand what's really working, the name of the game in the company culture, and how it deals with setbacks, how it deals with budget changes, a change in the pipeline, or whatever. You will only learn that when you have enough data, and that can be more than 1 year, even 2 or 3 years. So by not being promoted within a year, you should not say, okay, I'll just leave and go. But instead, you should ask yourself, and this is also what you do, to ask yourself, what did I do well? What did I not do well? And how can I improve what I'm doing? So I remember when you said that you actually have a list of all your successful placements. That's what headhunters do.
Yeah.
And then you always say that what made you successful in this placement? And you said within those, how many successful placements you have? Over 100, right?
It's 80 right now.
80. So for all of these 80, there's not a single pattern that you said that is really saying this is the one, the secret ingredient, but it's the whole thing that you see, this holistic view on, does this candidate really fit to the company culture? Yes or no? And there's so many things, whatever the diversity criteria are, the age, the gender, the background, the nationality, the location of the company, the role, the industry, and whatever. So all of these things you have to attend to, and that is nothing that you can have a final verdict on after a year. So that really underlines invest more than 2 or 3 years. But then again, especially for bachelor and master students, please choose wisely which company.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. It's more than a job. And if you're not happy, you are not successful. And it also, like, if you grow up, it's hard to know what you would like to do and so on. You always need a mentor. You need someone who's inspiring you, who's offering his or her hand to help you with a career. But as you said, if it's not the right setup, the right company, you won't be successful in a long way. And if you are in a management position, and you don't believe in the values or the company's decision, and you have a responsible for a team, and you don't agree, or it's a toxic surrounding, and you don't believe in the company anymore, make a move.
And once you have determined your readiness to leap and want to transition into business or industries, then you can enroll in your free email course with 10 actionable, bingeable email lessons until you start your job in business. You'll get 10 emails like this. Number 1, how to leap out of science. Number 2, how to build your sustainable LinkedIn profile. Number 3, how to read social media and network. Number 4, how to research your favorite jobs and employers. Number 5, how to do informational interviews to get insights. Number 6, how to create your customized applications with ChatGPT. Number 7, how to prepare your thesis from a business point of view. Number 8, how to apply to your favorite employers. Number 9, how to choose the right job offer. Number 10, how to prepare for your new job. Absolutely. And that also dovetails nicely with what we were just talking about and what are questions that my graduates should ask. And the more open they are about their own values, that repels or attract hiring manager to hire you. And if it's not meant to be, then it's better if it's not just probation time and then you find out it's not working out.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
it really goes hand in hand, and it really is beneficial for both sides to be open and to be authentic and not to play someone who you're not going to be able to obtain anyway. Okay, at the fun day, I was so impressed as you were talking about your own career path, and that you openly shared that as a father of three, that you don't want to spend too much of your workday in meetings, and you rather spend direct time with your clients, with the companies, and to understand the candidates' needs, etc., so that you can be the matchmaker between the companies and the candidates. So what are your own career aspirations within Page Executives? Would that change when your kids are older and need you less?
That's a good question. So right now I'm an individual contributor, as we say. So I'm just responsible for my own business. And that's what I really, really like. And that's because, as you said, we have 3 kids. My wife is also working. I can focus during the day on all job-related topics. And I have not so many meetings, and I don't need to develop young talent. So I have more like a mentor function now. So if we have new colleagues, then I'm also there to help. That's also something which is natural for me. But I'm quite happy that I'm not in a management function now. Can I manage a team? For sure. But the living situation is different now. So before we had kids, I was leading a team. When our second child was born, I was still managing a team of plus 120 employees at IKEA, working Monday till Sunday. And retail is really hard business. And that's what I learned. I'm very thankful for almost 11 years at IKEA as a manager. But right now I'm quite happy to make an impact as an individual contributor, to have all flexibility that I need. And I'm quite successful here because we do have our career plans within Page Group, of course. So we have half and full year appraisals with our managers and our department. And that's something that I'm really looking forward, because we develop so fast. We're a fast growing organization because the demand is out there, that I'm pretty sure that there will be another function in the near future within Page Executive. And that's something that we develop together, my boss, HR, and myself. And I will push the button if I'm unhappy to say, well, let's talk. It's not something I'm waiting for until we have that day of career planning. That's something you have to interact all the time with your manager, and that there is no problem you talk about when it comes to career planning.
That is so beautiful that you are having these opportunities within Page Executive to switch from a leadership management role to a more expert role. And I'm also talking about this to my students who will eventually land a role in HR. Most of them want to. And I'm saying that you should also establish this leadership versus expert tracks that are both financially attractive, but are also depending on the personal capabilities. Not all of the employees want to lead. Not all of them should lead. Not all of them are the born experts. But if you have both inherent in your capabilities, then switching between both tracks would allow for family times, in the sense of what you were just sharing. You were in a greedy job before you had kids, and building your family made you realize that you want to spend more time with your family. So you are switching to a role where you're just responsible for your own business. And I think that is also great for people young now to understand that if they are building their capabilities to be attractive on the job market, that they should also understand, when is my time to sort of like park and understand that I can still have an impact with these kinds of capabilities if I know what I can offer. And then I can also ask for them. Another gem that you just dropped was that you would push the button not when it's too late. But for you, the career management discussions are ongoing already from day one. careers do not happen. It's not something that I passively benefit from, but instead, I need to work out my own opportunities. And that is to say, I want that. Why am I the best person for that? And then to be patient. If it's not happening right away, that's fine. But after 3 years, and you see that you are capable of doing that, you can then switch. And that again dovetails to that should be the employer, ideally where you want to spend more than 3 years. Because that could be the time when you fall pregnant or you become a father. And then you have already built that trust that they will give you this opportunity because they already know this will be an investment where you can find and build new experiences that will help you in the future function at Page Executive, for example. Remember, you are a postdoc transformer. You are highly intelligent, well-educated, a bachelor, master, and maybe you have already your doctor under your belt, or you are a postdoc. You are internationally experienced, fluent in English, a leader and expert in your prior research field. You're resilient, brilliant in adaptation and problem solving. You are eager to bring in the transferable and monetizable skills needed in many companies to embrace the future and to become or remain an innovator in their markets. Are you curious to ask professors, principal investigators, visiting scientists, postdocs, PhD students, and candidates some in-depth life and career guiding questions? But it feels cringe, so you end up not asking? Buy our postdoc transformation card game to have more fun and valuable insights in your journal club, lab, and mentoring meetings, lab rotations, during conferences, panels, and breaks at the Mensa. You'll get 10 intriguing mentoring questions per career level. So 10 for PhD students, 10 for postdocs, 10 for professors, 10 for parental scientists, underprivileged and underrepresented and underserved scientists. Check them out with our discount coupon on the Postdoc Transformation shop, linked on postdoctransformation.com. So you were also talking that you are working with other executive headhunters and you also see the market. You said that you are a specialist for the technology sector, but obviously my students aren't always interested, unfortunately, in the technology industry. Are there any other industries in the future of work that you see thriving so that these are also huge career opportunities outside of tech?
Yeah, you're pretty independent when it comes to functions, especially in the HR. So you can be, I don't know, a CHRO or a head of HR in the tech industry, in the automotive industry, in the fashion industry. At some point, it doesn't matter. And that's what really changed now. The market is rare. There's not many talents there. The skills-based hiring is super important. That's something that we also recommend to our clients. If you always hire someone from the same background, that you're on the safe side, but you would probably not develop. Some companies don't like surprises. I like surprises, and that's what I go for. If we take a look at HR functions, finance functions, some engineering functions, these are executive searches. So if you have studied economics, you won't become a lawyer, for example. If we take a look at industries, we have a very well developing industry in the tech business, also in the B2B context, in the engineering world. We also have a lot of trends, digitalization, transformation. So these are all also topics that I'm responsible for and I'm interested in to really find the right talents for companies if they want to change and you need someone in the function of project, process, and change managers. It's all about people related, right? So these are also interesting trends. In Germany, automotive is still a very important industry which struggles right now. Is it like electromobility or is it the diesel motor or is it the Asian market much quicker than us? It's very unstable and there's still this post-corona wave in terms of suppliers who are not building cars. They're not car manufacturers, but there's so much more involved. So that's something that will develop and come back for sure. Then also all service-related industries. It can be in banking or insurance. Also those business models will be more digital, will transform, and security, a really, really big topic, and that can be in any industries. So everything goes into the cloud, everything is digital now. How do we make sure that it's secure? So these are probably the market trends that I can share. We make sure as Page Group, Page Executive, that we make an impact because we have specialized teams, headhunters, and the executive team and our research team is also specialized in the same like functions and industries. We can already help if the demand is there, and not to start a search in 3 weeks time, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's like active networking.
I'm really happy about the insights that you shared about digitalization, and it happens to all of the industries and all the functions. And to have at least some affinity to understand and to be able to speak with the people who are developing, who are the architects within the operations, within the system, or within the company, that really is important. Have you found this episode so far helpful for yourself? Well, maybe you can subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, or wherever you get our show. And also share this episode with your PhD bestie, because that would encourage us to help the underprivileged, underrepresented, and underserved early career scientists leaping into business. This would also ensure that you don't miss a future episode. Also, our subscription and listening numbers are key for finding the right sponsors for our show so that we can help you for free. And now, back to the show. Daniel, we had the second fun day when you were also talking about the work as a headhunter. And we do have actually 2 episodes with 2 real headhunters from Page Executive. One is Dr. Sonja Ulan, and the other one is with Beth Horsley. And they already answered a lot from the perspective of an applicant. But now I want to ask you, if you would hire a new headhunter, what is the number one success factor that you are looking for to have that person in your team?
Yeah, I would say personality. Do we share the same values? Because you represent the company. I could do the job for several other companies, but I'm happy with Page Group because I believe in the values, and I really appreciate that I have so great colleagues and a fantastic female leader. That's something that I would to take a look at. How's the mindset in terms of diversity, inclusion, equal participation? Do we have a track record here? Is that something that is important for the person? Because for us, it's super important. And that's something that we sell to our clients. Not because it's the trend, but because it's like what we believe in, what we do, and which is important. I would say if it comes to attitudes or how does someone act in several situations, you need a really high frustration level if you're a headhunter. Because in this book, you mentioned there's 80 placements that I've done in the past 7 years, meeting nearly 2,000 contacts. It can be clients, candidates per year. Now you can ask, is it a bad conversion? I would say, no, it's not, because it's a very abstract business. My passion is to meet people, to really listen, find out what is their next wish in their career, in their life, and to really match it with client and candidate, to bring them together, right? What I would ask the applicant is, are you up for that? Are you happy with it? Or does it feel like work? Because if it feels like work, then you're probably not the right person for that job. I think internal motivation is super important, and you need to be resilient because it can be also very frustrating. So you have one fantastic candidate in your final job project. It's just like the signature under the contract, and then he says, well, or she says, well, I don't do it. And that's a long journey. We're talking about 2 to 3 months until we are there to have a contract between candidate and client. So that can be very frustrating. And loyalty is super important for me, and to have a close relationship. If something is wrong, just tell me before and not when we are almost there. So that's also something that I want to find out, if this person we are probably hiring had the same experience. Have you learned about that or not? So in Germany, we say you need to be a Stehaufmännchen. You can't translate that. I really love that word because that's what you need to be in the job as a headhunter. We have also a sportive mindset, if that makes sense. So I really like targets, goals, job is done, everybody's happy, next. And you can multiply it. Your network is really growing. And when it comes to the executive search, it's all clients, right? Every client can be a candidate. Once it is the buying center and the hiring manager, and it can also be the person, if you have a close relationship, that can be your future candidate. That's also something that I would like to find out, because it's super abstract. Does the person we try to hire have that in mind, and does he or she understand the complexity of the job as a headhunter? Because it's different. If you're selling products, you can say, well, that the benefit, it's the price, it's the availability, I don't know, we're market leader, early adapter, whatever, but we're talking about people, right? And they have their own will, and at a certain career level, it's not the money that drives the candidates. It's they're looking for the right organization to make decisions, to make an impact, to share the knowledge. And because we are talking in the executive search, I'm only placing male and female top leaders. They want to make an impact, and they want to really enable their managers to make the next step.
And that really is a perfect bow for all my audiences, because I also have PhD and postdoc scientists who want to leap into business, and maybe they're not yet the leaders that you are talking about. But if they're good in their job, they will advance and become the ones that want to make an impact, etc. All you said was so great that I haven't touched on networking as such, and I feel that I should invite you again for another episode. And just to give you a heads up, for example, we are actually meeting in September again for FIDA.
Yes, we do.
Then the second time. And Daniel will be talking about creating your own brand. And I will be also talking about how to become attractive for a podcast, to use podcast guesting, to be a guest in a podcast for your own personal branding. And I think that it will dovetail nicely hand in hand. So I'll be looking forward to meet you again, Daniel, and also to share our mission, helping young and old talents who are underprivileged, underrepresented, and also underserved to be sitting at a longer, bigger table, because we need all of them.
And naturally, women and people from diverse backgrounds tend to have more interesting stories, and that need to be shared. Everybody knows the German male doing the degree in banking, and he's doing in the banking for 20 years and he's happy in retiring. That's not interesting. I know people with this kind of career, but the difference is really people from diverse backgrounds and minorities to be empowered. Also, like, looking forward to the 14th of September in Essen to share nice stories, insights, and connect people that they are able to manage their careers. And I'm so happy and thankful that you invited me for this great podcast here. I think we can develop something great here. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Daniel. It really has been a pleasure. And I'm really also looking forward to further collaborations for another fun day for my students next year, or maybe this year, even in November or so. I think that fathers like you should be shared and celebrated more openly. Do you want a transcript of our episode? And our episode sponsors answers to all 6 bold questions so that you can choose to apply. Do you want to nominate your potential employer of choice so that we can ask them our bold questions? For all of that, click on our links in our show notes and on our website, www.postdoctransformation.com. Remember to check your readiness to leap out of science and to enroll in our free email course, Career Transition Made Simple. Thanks for your attention. I'm Professor Dr. Eleonore Soei-Winkels, the host of your seasonal Postdoc Transformation Show. Postdoc Transformation. Hey, you're still here? And you are a future HR or talent management leader? Well, I want to talk to you about a powerful tool that can transform the way organizations communicate internally. How about creating a podcast like this one? In today's fast-paced business world, effective communication is the cornerstone of success. So how can you engage your employees, convey your company's culture, and share knowledge in a dynamic, authentic, and accessible way? Well, to me, the answer lies in podcasting, obviously. So picture this, a podcast tailor-made for your organization where you and your real employees and leaders share success stories and updates in a conversational, engaging format. It's like having your own radio show, but with a corporate twist. Absolutely branded. Now, why should you consider this as a future HR and talent management professional? Well, podcasts are accessible. So your employees can tune in during their daily commute, while multitasking, off-screen, or walking, and it's flexible and it can be easily repurposed in different formats and languages. You know what I'm talking about, right? So it actually humanizes your organization, and podcasts allow you to bring a company's culture to life. You can interview leaders, team members, and highlight what makes your workplace unique and connect with those team members who are far away or on parental leave when they are most receptive for your internal communication. And in the era of AI-generated communications, a podcast with your business leaders in real life is a real human way to reach your employees. You can inform your people every day, everywhere, on demand, and not just during the typical onboarding and promotion seasons. Lastly, it's a platform for continuous learning. Whether it's training materials, leadership insights, or industry trends, podcasts keep your team informed and inspired. So, as you prepare to step into the world of HR, talent management, and leadership, consider the impact you can make by introducing a corporate podcast. It's a game changer for internal communications and aligns perfectly with a modern work environment. So, are you ready to inform with a human touch? Create a podcast with me. I'm Eleonore Soei-Winkels, the host of the Postdoc Transformation Show. Do you need inspiration? Well, you can get a list of free 30 sample episode titles to be customized for your company. Just enter your email address on our company podcast form on PostdocTransformation.com. Postdoc Transformation.